What's going on, everybody?
My name's Jake.
And I think it'd be a fair candidate for your next YouTube subscription. That's pretty much what I'm going for. I mean, I'm not after your subscribes and likes and whatnot, but I'm gonna try to be more active in my channel. And I wanted to start out with this route. I've done a couple videos and whatnot, but I wanted to let everyone know what they're gonna be about, because obviously you don't want to watch my shit unless you think I'm pretty or you're interested in something I'm working on. 15% battery on my phone. All right. So there's three things. I just got done downsizing my whole life, and there's three things that I work on or own, and that's not really going to change too much over the next couple of years. Maybe I'll get a jet ski or something. You know, I'm no different than most people. Sorry about the road, by the way. So I own a 2000 F-150. I'm going to show it to you. Short bed, 5-speed manual, 4.2 liter V6. The only true dual exhaust truck that I believe is out there. I like to do things a little different, and I think you're going to learn that as we go on. But that is one of the things I like to work on. And mainly I like to do things a little different than most people. So I think from that and my failures and laughing at my expense, you might get some kicks out of my videos in the future. So there will be projects on that, always. You know how it is, lifetime projects. The other thing is my 2002 CBR 600 F4i. Now technically, my first bike was a 2001 CBR 600 F4i, and I still have it, but it's completely disassembled, and I keep saying I'm gonna rebuild the whole thing this winter. That involves time and money, and a place to do it. Tear down the entire engine, rebuild it, you know, custom frame, custom swing arm, a lot of custom stuff. I mean, that's what stunt riding is all about, a lot of custom parts and whatnot. So it'd be like that on the high end, even higher than I've seen a lot of people do it. I've got access to welder. I'm fairly good with electronics, wiring, like I said. So, and then the third one, who just joined us recently, and with a little more money, I'm a little on the low side right now. She will be getting some new parts, and she'll almost be done for the most part, but she's not done yet, so I'm gonna keep you in the dark a little bit. But that is basically a version of a Teo 110 ATV, kids ATV, that I picked up for free and looking to transform into a fun little adult version. So anyway, right now I want to talk to you about the girl that's mostly done. Her front end is not on right now. I'm waiting on parts in general. I'm waiting on a rear seat, sub cage, front stay to hold the front fairing, and a couple other things, I think. But she's to the point where she is a fairly decent bike right now. So like I said, 2002 Honda CBR 600 F4i, the Sport. They just call it a Sport because it's two twin seats. I know they call it that sometimes. So I'm a stunt rider. So if you're a stunt rider, or if you're getting into stunt riding, or if you're getting into wheelies, maybe you want to look at this stuff. I'm going to try to give you the best camera angles I can on stuff and show you some tips and tricks along the way. I'll talk a little bit about a bike right now. So basically, stock swing arm frame. This is your subframe. All that stock. It's just painted by the previous owner. Then we have a old school sub cage. This is nothing fancy. These are hard. They're not adjustable. They're just metal instead of those flip up pegs. So we've got a hard sub cage to put your feet when you're doing stand-up tricks and wheelies. We redid we've done some welding on the subframe here. We redid the battery tray, which you can kind of see. I'll give you a closer look in the future. But we basically built our own battery tray, our own ECU tray, and both of them have a lock on it, so the ECU can't come out and the battery can't come out no matter what. Upside down, flip, doesn't matter. So the ECU sits right underneath the battery here. And there's still a fair amount of work to be done in there. We actually want to, like I said, we want to do a lot of custom work to the other bike. This one is just so I can get back out there. It's 2020 and I haven't ridden really at all this year, so I'm trying to get back into it more. But my bike was clappity clap. She was pretty shitty last year, so she needed some help. I went with some real cheap rear sets down here, and I'll pay for it one day. I can guarantee that. So when I pay for it, I'll try to remember to show you what happened. But these were $100. They're called Dan Moto. Maybe they'll hold up, but the quality right out the gate was pretty bad. One of the bolts didn't even have the hole to put the Allen wrench in from factory. I don't know if you can hear me when that goes by, so I just stopped. But the quality right out the box was not the best. So we're gonna see what happens. But I needed the levers, like I needed everything. So I couldn't just order the rear sets and put my stuff on it unless I bought the other levers and shit from and the shifter from eBay. So I went all last year with no foot brake. But anyway, let's get along through the parts here. We've got a cut down carbon fiber M4 shorty exhaust. It's about 8 inches long, give or take, and baffles like a son of a bitch. I got Q3 plus tires just put on, front and rear. They seem real sticky. I like them a lot. Brakes all around, every monoblock I have, which is this guy right here. Those are R6 monoblocks. I have to do a little bit of tinkering in the front because something's wrong. They work, but they're not great up there. So in the suspension, I've got a saggy ass fix, which is a must-have if you're going to be doing. I mean, in my opinion, if you own an F4i, it's a must. But really, if you like doing wheelies a whole bunch, I would say get it. Especially if you're going to get into stunt riding. Takes a little getting used to. Inside the engine, well, back here, just to finish up, we've got a sleek undertail. It's the one that's harder to find, and I've seen it only a couple times. I'll show you in a second. I'll give you a little walk around. But undertail, and then I'm waiting on a 12 bar back here for scraping the rear end so you don't fuck up these nice plastics. This is a B stunt bracket to hold 3 monoblocks. The third one's not on right now. I need a line and then she's going on. And that pretty much concludes the rear end. I've also got a battery disconnect, which most people don't run. And I'll show you that in more of an in-depth video. We'll get into this bike more in another video. So inside the engine, in the oil pan, I've got a plate basically that, an oil pickup plate that when you're doing a wheelie for a long time, you want oil to still get to your crankshaft and everything. That just kind of helps the oil go where it needs to be, I guess. Along with that, I've got a timing advance. They start out as a 2. I've got a 6. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I just got on it. And like I said, this is all, it's like riding a whole different bike now for me. So I'll let you know how it goes. Up top, right here, we've got a Graves custom gas tank. Love the gas tank. I mean, he nailed it. I was there talking to him about what I wanted. No idea what I wanted because I had never done gas tank tricks because I didn't have one. And I didn't want to wreck someone else's bike. So best of my knowledge, gave him what I wanted, and he knocked out the part. And we had it painted and whatnot, and it's got a gauge cluster and a gas cap up there. I'll show you in a second. In the front, we've got, I'm gonna move you up to the front here. You're not gonna be able to see very well, even though I did that. Well, anyway, this is your cage. I got a 905 racing cage. That's a must-have. Honestly, even if you're on the streets, this will save your ass. You hit a deer and go down, this will save your bike and possibly your legs, because I've been sliding on the ground back in the day on my 01 CBR. When I first started out, I had this exact cage. My legs were tucked in, bike's sliding down the road, and nothing. You know, it's not grinding away at my legs. I just held on until the bike stopped. I was all right. I want to share that kind of stuff with you guys too. Safety tricks and tricks and tips that I've learned along the way. You know, I'm not genius. I'm not. Sometimes I'm smart. Sometimes I'm full fucking retarded. Either way, you might learn something, and you'll definitely get a kick out of it, I think. So all the way around, we've got these core moto brake lines. I think you can see them right here. Typically, I go with like a blue-purple combo. This is a blue line, translucent blue line with a purple banjo connector. And before we get into the front end too much, on the radiator, I've got the same guy that built my gas tank, Graves. He built me a radiator cage. You can get them all over the place. I'm running some kind of off-brand radiator. We don't know how good it's doing. We know it's working, but we don't know how well it's working. So that's still kind of being tested out. It hasn't broken yet, but I haven't really put it to the test, I guess. And then I've got a dual fan set up behind there, so I've got a second fan that I can run on a switch just to keep the bike at better temperatures in traffic or at a stop and whatnot, and especially when I'm doing wheelies. All right. Now, all the way up in the front, we've got a lot of the goodies up in the front. Your front end's a big deal. Whether you're a stunt rider or a track day guy, you know, forks are important. Steering dampeners are important. I'm just can't afford one yet. Diesel. I have basic F4i fairings too on this thing. $350, eBay, Chinese, do not buy them. Unless you like drift stitching. Unless you like doing shit like this, don't buy those Chinese fairings. Now, I'm not saying somebody doesn't make good fairings on eBay. I'm saying the ones I bought are shit. So, right up front here, we've got some R1 forks. 2003, I believe, 2003 to 5 R1 forks. They're put on with a 954 triple tree on the bottom here, and then up top, basically a 954, 929 aftermarket Stunt Army triple tree. That holds my brake reservoir cups, which going through the tubing right here. They are tucked in, and the cups are actually sitting in my triple tree, which is only a stunt rider thing as far as I've seen. It's kind of cool that we have that. That's really only there. Like, that's not there for bleeding the brakes. They come out and you hold them up when you bleed the brakes, but they're there so that if this bike goes end to end, there's a small chance it might have brakes after that. A better chance, I should say, because the cup's not going to get knocked off. It's not going to get banged around. It does happen. You know, you look at wrecked bikes that have them scratched up all the time. So that won't happen in this case. Moving on, we've got a Brembo 1920, 1918, I can't remember which. Front brake lever, RSC, folding lever. The folding part is really for banging up against walls and shit if that ever happens. I mean, it's a little bit to do with, you know, it's gonna move to your hand as well, but you don't really want to do it like that for driving around. I love that thing to death though, and I'm getting another one for my rear brake on the other side. Because on the other side, I've got a R6 front brake flipped around, which last time I was a run. I've been ran all last year is fine. This year I just want a little higher quality in my shit, so worth the money though. 100% worth the money. The adjustability you get out of that Brembo RSC lever is phenomenal. So don't even think twice about spending. I think it's $200 to $300 or something on it. And then right next to that Brembo lever, I've got a Motion Pro throttle, which I'm having mixed feelings about. Nothing against Motion Pro, but they don't make one for the F4i that I know of. I was talking to the guy about it that works there, and I basically bought a universal kit, or not a universal kit. I bought a kit that looked like it would fit up to my throttle bodies. I knew what they looked like, what I needed. So I bought what it would almost work, and then I drilled a hole, which again we'll go into in depth later. But I drummeled a new hole to get the cable length to work correctly in this Motion Pro. But it's really, really touchy. Either that or I'm really out of practice. I mean, if you're racing around, oh fuck yeah, like it takes off like a rocket, just it rips. But for being steady on wheelies on the road, so far I'm still getting used to it. This is the part where this is the part where I wish that I could flip my camera, but I can't. So it gets a little awkward, but I have to show you this stuff. So next to that, we got the Brembo lever. Next to that, we've got, this is my auto adjustment. Another thing that is not supposed to fit F4Is. Remember how I said that I kind of like doing some, I like doing shit that people say you can't do or hasn't been done. And it's not that this hasn't been done, it's just that people do have issues doing it. So, yeah. So basically, this is your idle control. You spin it left and right, and it'll turn the RPMs up at idle. And then we've got the RSC clutch lever that I just got in. She's working really nice. Like I said, core moto lines all around. And I have a 6-shop clutch cable. That's working real good so far, no issues. And then I got a little bubble mirror, which I like actually. He's working out real good. So he hasn't fallen off, and I can see fairly decent behind me. I mean, it's a bubble mirror, so what do you expect? Another thing that I have that I haven't touched on, couple things. I have the Clean Air mod, which is a 3-piece hose connector, and a buddy helped me do that. I was worried about it, doing it wrong or fucking something up. So my air box is cut off. Typically our air boxes are run to the hoses run to them, but mine's cut off, and I've got the Clean Air mod on there. And that should wrap it up pretty much for the engine. The one more thing I wanted to show you was something I just did last night. So this is my rear seat, and again, I'm supposed to have a plate here and a new rear seat. I'm missing some stuff, and that's when I'm gonna get more into in-depth videos. But last night I put this in, and I mean, I think if you're gonna be on the road, you need one of these. This tells me 24/7 that what my volts are. You can see it right there. And then 2 USB ports. This one's at least only a 4.2 amp, which is not that high compared to my fast charger. But when in doubt, like your phone's dying and shit, you can just plug it in, put it in your pocket, and keep jamming out and having a good time. Trying to think if I'm forgetting anything here. Let's set you back down so you don't have to look at these shitty angles. I am forgetting. So, It's not called Wood Tree. It's called not Woodstock. I think it is Woodstock. Like Burning Man, Woodstock's a company, and I believe I got that name right, but you can tell me if I don't. They're a company, and they make, mostly it started out for racing use, to get rid of your ignition with your key up front. They had a little wiring harness that was plug and play, plug into your original wiring harness, and eliminate your key switch. So basically every turn, and you probably noticed this when you looked at my handlebars, there's no turn signals, headlight, on-off button, start button. That's relocated on the bike. Not sure if I want to show that to people yet because I'm paranoid as fuck that, people stealing my bike. There's too many horrible people out there stealing bikes. God forbid one watches the channel, is like, hey, I live near this guy, maybe I'll see him around or something, and then they try to take his fucking bike, and shit's wrong. So I don't know if I want to show people how to start my bike, but I probably will someday, even though, just because most of the time if I'm in town or something, if I'm going to be in a store more than 10 minutes, I chain my bike up, and like I said, I have a battery disconnect, so you can push my bike and pick it up and put it in a truck if you cut that lock, but you're not going to start it that fast. It's going to take you a little bit of time to start, so you're going to have to do some legwork. So I'll probably end up showing you guys, because I really like it, and it's different than what most people do. But, so there's a Woodcraft key eliminator switch, they call it, plug and play, and then what it would do is you would have your kill switch on and off. As soon as you would turn that on, your fuel pump would prime, and the gauges would turn on. Instead of turning the key, turn the kill switch on, and then everything lights up, and you just hit the ignition, and you're good to go. You want to turn the bike off, just hit the kill switch, everything's off. And that's mostly like a track day thing to save a couple pounds, but for us, it's really a simplicity thing. We're not breaking the key off, we're not having to fuck with the key, and after I did that, I rewired it to basically my own kill switch and my own push button start, which turned out great. Like, I love it to death. I'm just not sure about the position of where it is right now. So, aside from that, sorry for getting so distracted and shit. I've got a blue chain on the other side. I want to show you the sprocket real quick. This sprocket is a, you can get them at the Six Shop. It's a 55 tooth. I run 520 so far. I'm not sure. I haven't had an issue with it. I had a chain break once, but I think it was my fault. This sprocket's a 55 tooth. I spent a fair penny on it, and I've already gotten a fair amount of reviews, so I think it's pretty dope. Basically what they do is, and I think it's aluminum, I can't remember. What they do is they cut this out, and then this is a sticker they put on, and my dumbass should have cut around it before I put these bolts on, but because it twisted the plastic on the sticker a little bit. But either way, this is one killer looking sprocket. This is a spray can. The spray can is, I think, right there, and it's spraying out like colorful smoke. So it's just a sticker. On the back side, it's blue or black, hard anodized. And this is my 300 rotor, I believe, 300, 310. Could be a 315, I can't remember. And this is some really gross looking shit that I need to look at, because I don't know where the fuck it came from. Gross. I just did a street ride last night, so I did say I'd show you that taillight assembly. So this is the one I'm talking about, and my battery's not hooked up right now. I think the brake, so it won't work, but brake light works on the front brake and everything. I painted it myself and turned out pretty good. We'll see how it holds up. But this is not going to be here forever. I've got some shit I'm doing here for the stunt riders, and mostly, you know, like I said, it's a stunt bike. So if you're into that shit, then it's for you. So I've got a lot of future plans and a lot of future projects with those 3 little vehicles. You know how it is. I mean, you're a guy with a project and shit. We don't. That it never ends. You can say your project's done, but you know you're gonna fucking touch it one day. So. Sorry, most of you have probably already changed the channel. If you're still here, even though I keep zoning out and stopping, that will happen from time to time, but I'll try to keep you interested and try to keep talking about stuff that doesn't suck, because I watch YouTube and I know how this shit works. You'd think. One more thing I want to show you before we sign off is this custom gas tank. Best I can, because I have to look at the screen to double check that you can see what I see. Custom built-in gauge that my needle just moved on me. Gas cap. Twist and hide gas cap. There's a better word for that, but got some LEDs around here. You know, like I said, she's a work in progress.